Hello. I've been invited to share what Enneagram 2 means to me and how I see it in myself, and I decided to make a short video about that. So, my understanding of Enneagram 2 and how it manifests in my life is that it's basically about trying to earn love and support by being of value to others, by being, my glasses are crooked, by, by providing something, being useful, being charismatic, being valuable in some way, creating value. And I have done a whole lot of this in my life. I have often been attracted to friends and partners who I could see a clear value that I could offer them. And a lot of times I would even, like with partners in particular, be attracted to people who I saw as inferior to me. Although in a way I did, in a way I didn't. Like I could see value there. I could see, their value as a human being, but from like external measurable criteria such as how popular the person was, how much money he had, how attractive he was, how whatever you want to measure, I would pretty much see myself as being in a superior position, and it gave me a sense of security, like this person would be crazy to leave me. But then it wasn't just about like that sort of thing. That was just like a not really even a main focus. It would be like I would make sure that it was really easy and comfortable and pleasant to live with me in any way that I could. I would be engaging and entertaining and um, sensual and sexual and sweet and funny, just be a pleasure to be around when that was what the person seemed like he wanted. I would just let him have whatever amount of time to himself. That's what it seemed like he wanted. And have often been with people who didn't give me as much attention as I wanted, and um, probably a lot less than what's average in a relationship. I have been with people who largely ignored me a lot of the time, and even complained when I wanted attention, or like if I said like I need to spend more time with you, like we got two love languages, touch and time, and like I need more time here. Um, I would say that and then be treated like a nuisance sometimes, and I dealt with that in relationships. And like I'd pay more of the bills too. Like I wanted to see myself in an financially superior position. So I haven't done this every single time, but like at least 90% of like my time in relationships, which has been like almost all of my adult life. Not so much. I got to a point where I didn't need to be with somebody anymore, like a couple years ago, and I've still been involved since then, but like I didn't need to be anymore. So I've spent more time single um, in the past couple of years than I have like the rest of my life put together since I started dating when I was 14. Um, but what else? Even just like strangers, if I like meet somebody and they're telling me about something, like I'd be a fixer, like there was I'd see a problem and like, oh, I've got this tidbit of knowledge, or it worked for me, and like offer my perspective. And a big part of like being able to do this, to be of value to people, is this assumption that I know what's good for them, and that's the pride of the two. That is where that's how twos are prideful and lack humility. It's in believing that they know what's best for other people. instead of like trusting people to, manage their own lives and have a clear sense of what's best for themselves. And I did this quite a bit, without any like conscious, all of this, like this was all like stuff I just did. Like I wasn't particularly conscious of it. For the most part, I did notice, like I would say, like I don't care how objectively attractive a person is. I just care about the chemistry between us. And like I don't care how much money a person has. If I want to be with someone, it's for him, not for what he can offer me. So like I did have a certain level of awareness about it, but it was like I didn't see that I was doing that in order to be able to provide more value. Somebody already has everything in life. What am I going to come in and offer? How am I going to earn love if I can't, um, if I can't take care of something or provide some kind of benefit to the person. But it would also happen like with friendships too. People would come to me for emotional support a lot, and they spent way too much time focusing on other people's problems and other people's feelings and other people's needs. And I didn't like necessarily like jump in and be like, well, here, I'm gonna fix this for you, but I would like do what I could to like, like especially if it was someone that's not local, because I've had a lot of internet friends. And I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I'm flying to Sacramento to help fix this issue or whatever. Like it wasn't necessarily always practical like that, but I would, like try to give them the tools that they needed, or like help them see the like bigger picture, or like emotionally help them through it, or let them vent to me, or sometimes intervene in situations like the drama triangle. And I don't remember exactly what the terms used in the drama triangle are, but it's basically like the aggressor, the victim, and the like rescuer or protector. And it kind of takes all three in order to have that drama triangle. And I would be the rescuer. I'd see people that were being mistreated by somebody, and then I would, like, instead of talking to the person and being like, well, here's what you could do. Actually, I did do that. Or just like letting them work it out themselves, like adults, and not getting involved. A lot of times I would step in and talk to the other person and try to like work it out so that the person didn't feel like victimized anymore, like address whatever their complaint was. And like sometimes even like I would have a lot of like Facebook group chats, and or I'd be like the admin of a group or whatever, and I would even like use my power in those positions, or social power, and influence, to have a person who seemed like they might be bullying other people removed from whatever the situation was, so that person just wouldn't have to deal with it. um, I've done a fair amount of that, being that kind of protector person. But I would try to do it in this like charismatic way whenever possible, and also be like focused on like how can I help this aggressor person too. Like I didn't just like go to battle with the other person involved. Usually I would like try to talk to them and be like, so having a bad day, or maybe there's a misunderstanding that I can sort out, or maybe like this person needs some kind of help and they need to like go see a therapist or whatever. I would like try to be like I try to look for like win-win solutions to problems where somebody could be where everybody could benefit basically. And I would often focus all of my attention on other people around me and um, not much on myself. Then I got to a point where I decided to start focusing on my own feelings and taking me time and developing more emotional awareness and processing my core wounds. And I wanted to become more feminine, more emotionally expressive because I wanted to be with somebody who I knew needed that from me. Honestly, that's why I did it. And I quit drinking then too, for basically the same reason, is like to help with the emotional processing and to help with like to be a better potential future partner for this person. So that started me on a really important, significant journey. It's all about the emotional processing. If you've got emotional processing skills, whatever else happens, you can sort it out. Like the emotional processing piece is just huge. So when I started doing that and I started like doing little things to take care of myself, like I got to this point where I was like, I am looking for a lot of stuff from a partner that I could just like give to myself. And the reason I'm looking for it from somebody else is maybe because I'm not giving it to myself. I want attention from a partner because I'm not giving myself enough attention. I need me time and I need introspection and um, I need my own attention, and also emotional nurturing and comforting. Um, I got myself like little gifts. I do little things to spoil myself. Like I'd see flowers and I'd be like, oh, I just love me so much that I'm going to get this for me because I know it'll make me happy and I want me to be happy because I love me. So I would like do a lot of little things like that. And man, I had some really powerful stuff. So doing that sort of thing moved me into a position where um, I just grew super, super fast in a really short period of time. And being involved with that one guy, like really helped out a lot with that too, because he kept challenging me. It was a very painful relationship. Um, and for whatever reason, it just felt right. Like my mind and my emotions would try to like book it like constantly. Like I wanted out of it. But like on a soul level, like it just felt right. I knew I needed to be there. I knew it was what was right for me. And I didn't understand why, but I stuck with it because I had that clarity. So anyways, I remember seeing a video about twos that, or maybe I read it somewhere, but basically the idea was like they genuinely believe that they're just being like caring and like helping people and like being focused on other people and that it's not selfish and that it's not prideful. Like they really think they're doing the best thing. And when they realize their pride, they will cry for a week. And I was like, wow. Well, that's what ended up happening. I had a series of really massive epiphanies and like realizations and saw my own like bullshit and illusions. And I got to this point where um, it would actually involve that same person. Like the relationship was falling apart. He was very irritated with me, and I was, um, trying to stay involved with him. And the more I tried to like provide value, the more he'd withdraw. And he was, that wasn't what the dynamic always was, but that's what it was then. And I read this book, Nonviolent Communication, which is a wonderful book, I might add. And I can't even remember what it was in it, but there was something in it that, like, I just had this realization, like, holy crap, if I think that I know what's best for other people, that's prideful. Like, if I am talking to someone and I'm like, oh, this person needs this. This is what would be best for this person. That is extremely prideful and extremely wrong because each person is the best and only captain of his own ship or her own ship. And there's no such thing as going off course in life. You know, no matter what it looks like to me, they need to be there doing that thing at that time for some reason or another. And it's none of my business and it's not my place to try to fix it. It's exactly what it needs to be right now, all things considered. And the only person that knows what's best for anyone is himself or herself. So once I saw that, and I saw that I had been really trying to do what's best for other people, I realized how incredibly intrusive that is. Wow, how prideful it is, how it means that I don't have faith and confidence in that person to be, you know, captain his ship or her ship. And it means that I'm not focusing on myself first and foremost. And it means that I'm depleting myself a lot. You know, I'm just exhausted from all the stuff that I do and always being there for people and, you know, trying to help people through their crises and that sort of thing. Just even the amount of time putting in. And a lot of it, like, wasn't even like what the person wanted. It was just what I thought they needed, you know? So um, when I realized that all the helping that I was doing, and I was like at that point in time doing like free coaching calls to try to um, help people. And I figured eventually I might be charging for it, but I think at that point I actually was trying to get clients, but I was doing, you know, these discovery calls with people, and you know, figured even if I didn't get a client, I could do some good in the world, whatever. And working with a few people, like spending a lot of time with a few particular people that, like, you know, said they really needed my help and seemed to really offer the, or seemed to really appreciate the wisdom and information that I offered. And you know, when I realized that all that stuff that I was doing, like a lot of that was just enabling, because I, you know, if I tell somebody like this is the best thing for you in this situation and they believe me and they do it, even if it works out in a way that like I think is good for them, they didn't learn whatever they needed to learn in that situation necessarily. Although, you know, if where they were at that time was to listen to me and do what I said, then you know, that's not going off course either. So anyways, so when I had this realization and realized how just like invasive and intrusive and even like pushy I had been with this particular person, and how I had always been like that with all sorts of people to some extent, I cried. I'm like ugly cried, like sobbed a lot, like sitting in the shower, like bawling, the shower just like pouring down on me, just crying and crying. And I was sick, which, you know, makes it in a way that like helps me with emotional processing when I'm sick, because it gives me access to stuff that I don't usually have access to. But yeah, it was a miserable time. I cried and cried. Yeah, so now I'm at a point where I don't try to help other people for the most part. Like if somebody comes to me and asks me for something, whatever it is, insight or information or help with something, like physical help with something, or just wants me to like listen to their situation or whatever, I know now that It's only right when it feels right. And I don't go out of my way to seek out situations like that anymore, you know. And I also recognize that if I'm not capable of unconditional receiving of something, I'm also not truly unconditionally giving. I thought I was doing all of this unconditional giving in the past, but the fact that I felt uncomfortable if somebody seemed like they cared about me at least as much or more than I cared about them, if like I financially benefited or like practically benefited in a way that was like more than what I gave, that was uncomfortable for me. I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't ask for things that I wanted or needed. You know, it was all very, like, I was very, very self sufficient and independent and would do stuff for other people a lot. So, um, once I got to this point where I recognized that, you know, whatever this person thinks is best for him or her, however this person is navigating life, great. That's their path, you know. And if I have a notion to do something or like be there for somebody, I hope that's not too loud. I don't know how loud that's going to be in the video. Um, if I have that notion, it's really important for me to check my inner compass and see what feels right in that situation. And I don't always have a reason that I can offer for why something feels right or doesn't feel right. I only have like that's what it is, you know. And but I follow that. I trust it, and you know that's how I recognize if what I'm doing is actually what's best in that situation. For whatever reason. And it, you know, like I said, it doesn't always make sense to me. But another thing is if I find myself getting irritable, resentful, snappy with people, um, just tired, like not wanting to engage people at all, it means that I need some me time. And it means that I need to take care of myself right now. And the idea is that if I fill myself up first to overflowing with, you know, love and care and whatever else I need, then that just like naturally overflows onto the people around me. And, you know, it's just that it's something I'm oozing everywhere I go. And it's from a place of being full, complete, full, um, infinitely loved, unconditionally accepted within myself, safe, secure. When I am in this position, then the way I am in the world is going to naturally benefit other people, whether I even realize it or not, whether I try or not. Just my being, my way of being is going to have a positive impact on other people. But more importantly, my needs will be met. So I'm not going to be out there unconsciously looking for somebody to meet my needs because I'm good, you know. And if there is something that I need, I can ask for it. Well, okay, I'm gonna like I'm better at asking for it. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't say that I have completely mastered that at this point. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, basically, what it comes down to is feeling the need to earn love, to be a certain way, to give in order to be lovable, in order to be worthy of love, support, acceptance. And when I know that there's nothing that I can say or do ever to win any more or less of my own love and support and acceptance, then then I'm safe, I'm secure, and I can interact with people in a way that's much more in tune with what they're actually bringing into our interactions instead of looking for things to fix. So if you're looking for things to fix, you're judging people, you're looking for their problems and not just appreciating them for who and what they are right now and what's happening in this very moment and just enjoying it for what it is. So being present, being whole and safe and secure and loved and accepted within myself. Um, these are my keys, my way of being now. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording. I could probably talk a lot more, but thanks for watching.